Straight ahead on CCX News, what can you wear to a polling place? A local attorney argues the case before the U.S. Supreme Court. Plus, how housing upgrades impact a city.
So is this city changing? I think it's changing tremendously.
But first, preparing for a March storm that could leave more than a half foot of snow by the time it's done. CCX News starts right now. Snowstorm that meteorologists warned us about all weekend has finally begun. This video was taken just before we went to air at 4 o'clock. The National Weather Service said snow could fall at a rate of 1 to 2 inches an hour, and road conditions are expected to get worse throughout the evening, adding up to as much as 9 inches once it's all said and done. A winter storm warning will be in effect until 6 o'clock Tuesday morning, with strong wind gusts making travel conditions even worse. Hello, and thanks for joining us. I'm Mike Johnson. Crews worked to get ahead of the storm on Monday, knowing that the snow would likely snarl traffic and make for a messy evening commute.
Reporter Shannon Slatton explains how people prepared in the calm before the storm.
It's cold, it's windy, and technically still winter. Monday's snowstorm serves as a frigid reminder that spring is still a few weeks away.
We're working on getting this one ready to go. So this is one of our single axle trucks with a front plow and a rear wing.
Behind the scenes, crews are ready at the Crystal Public Works facility, despite the snow still being a few hours away.
We're just filling them up with salt, filling them up with salt brine, making sure they're all full of fuel and ready to go for the storm.
This storm will pack a double wallop of ice, then snow.
So that makes it a little more challenging for us. You have the ice and then the snow on top of it, which makes it more slippery. So we have to be out dealing with the ice and then the snow on top of it. So it's really, two waves of what we have to prepare for.
The first wave of trucks is already at work, cruising Crystal side streets, trying to keep the ice off the roads.
We have 2 trucks out right now on our main roads and hills, making sure they're putting down some product as needed.
If you want to make your local snowplow driver's job less of a headache, park in the driveway.
Not parking on the street makes our lives a lot easier.
Meanwhile, a sign of the season in Robbinsdale is waiting for anyone to park.
It's not necessarily a blizzard. I mean, I wouldn't mind a little more snow, but I like to sell blizzards rather than have a blizzard.
Downtown's Dairy Queen is back open, and after a busy weekend, Monday's business is anything but hot.
Yeah.
But it is open.
Nothing like the summertime, but...
With no plans to close up this ice cream shop for the snow, this hardy Minnesotan believes if you serve it, they will come.
We do live in Minnesota, and Minnesotans tend to love ice creams.
In Robbinsdale, Shannon Slatton, CCX News.
And when school administrators saw the forecast of ice followed by inches of snow, they proactively started canceling Monday classes and evening events. One principal got creative and put the school closure on social media by song.
Hey, this is Papa Hawk to all his hawks. There's no school tomorrow on Monday, March 5th, because the flakes have once again closed it. So tomorrow, I want you to stay home and I want you to be safe.
That was Cooper High School principal Frank Herman in a Twitter message to his followers on Sunday night.
The snow is also delaying a long-planned meeting on how garbage is collected in New Hope. A meeting with the 6 garbage hauling companies that serve the city had been planned for a long time for tonight, but that has now been rescheduled for April 2nd. The city is trying to decide whether organized garbage collection would work in New Hope to reduce wear and tear on city streets.
Police are looking for a 27-year-old Crystal man who has been charged with criminal vehicular homicide for a wreck that killed his girlfriend last June. Angus J. Anderson was charged in a rollover crash that happened on a ramp from Highway 212 to Highway 62. Anderson said his girlfriend was driving, but officials say a witness saw him at the wheel, and DNA tests found that blood on the driver's door belonged to Anderson. Authorities say he was driving with a revoked license at the time the charges were filed on Friday.
Parents were getting ready to rally against comments made by an Osseo school board member when the board meets on Tuesday night. Instead, the school board will be working on how to replace him. Osseo School Board Chairman Robert Gerhart resigned Friday afternoon after he was criticized when he proposed that school staff be allowed to carry firearms to protect students. Later in the week, there were controversial social media posts that were attributed to Gerhart. The Council on American Islamic Relations says the posts were anti-Muslim. The group said it welcomed his resignation. In a statement, Osseo School Superintendent Kate McGuire said, quote, "I believe it's important for school board members to play a leadership role in modeling the core values of our organization." And she said, "I respect Mr. Gerhart's consideration of the negative impact of his actions." She went on to say District 279 staff remain steadfastly committed to ensuring safe and healthy schools where every student, employee, family member, and resident feels safe, welcome, and respected. A district spokesperson says the board will discuss replacing Gerhart in a public meeting. Could be on the agenda Tuesday or later this month, when other meetings are scheduled on March 13th or possibly March 20th. A Robbinsdale resident is the main lawyer representing Minnesota in a case that has now gone to the U.S. Supreme Court.
And Dan Rogan is trying to convince the court that they should uphold Minnesota's voting apparel law, which addresses what you can and can't wear to a polling place. We get more from Eric Nelson, who joins us now. Eric?
Yeah, Alex and Mike, this is a case of freedom of speech versus the right to vote. Rogan was in Washington, D.C. last week defending a law that has been on the books in Minnesota since 1912. For over 100 years, voters have not been allowed to wear partisan buttons, caps, or clothing in polling places on Election Day. This kind of law is common across the nation.
All 50 states ban certain speech in the polling place. Minnesota is one of 11 states that ban not just electioneering material that says vote for Trump or vote for Hillary, but goes further and prohibits political apparel. So it would ban a Make America Great Again hat or I'm with her.
The voter apparel case dates back to 2010 when an Eden Prairie man challenged the law. With midterm elections coming up in November, including key races for governor and senator, Rogan believes it is paramount to uphold the ban. He is confident the Supreme Court will rule in their favor. Simply put, the state of Minnesota wants complete neutrality, no intimidation or influence inside or outside of polling locations.
That's exactly right. So the interests that the state have are really trying to create a calm place where we can make sure that people who are there to vote have the ability to focus on voting, that election judges have the ability to make sure that they're having a place that allows for that decorum to make sure that people have that space to vote.
Now, Dan Rogan says that if the Supreme Court strikes down the Minnesota voter apparel law, it would fundamentally change the ability for the state to prohibit what voters wear to a polling place. A decision is expected in May or June. Alex and Mike?
All right, thanks a lot, Eric. Still ahead on CCX News, a local city where there's a resurgence in housing and business. That's next in Business Matters.
Plus, Park Center scores an upset in the girls' basketball playoffs. We'll show you how the Pirates advanced.
But first, a late season wallop of rain and snow that's sure to foul up rush hour traffic. We'll be right back.
Well, welcome back. It's not often that a fully developed inner ring suburb has the chance to build a subdivision of new homes and bring in new businesses all at the same time.
That kind of revitalization is well underway in New Hope. In this week's Business Matters, it's a city resurgence that's coming to fruition after years of planning. This 1970s split-level home on Zealand Avenue in New Hope is undergoing a transformation.
This kitchen used to be very closed off. There was a wall over here, and there's a wall right where you're standing here.
Where shag carpet, walls, and 1970s decor used to be, now there's a completely refurbished 3-bedroom, 2-bath home. It's bound to sell quickly this spring after the city of New Hope purchased the foreclosure to improve its housing stock.
This was the old house that everybody knows about on the block that hadn't seen any improvements, and when you can come in and totally turn that around, it has a snowball effect for the neighborhood where people feel confident in investing in their home.
New housing has created new options in New Hope. All 60 homes in the new Parkview development near 55th and Winnetka Avenues have sold a year and a half ahead of schedule and for higher prices than expected, $300,000 to $400,000.
Is the city changing? I think it's changing tremendously, and I'm excited for the way it's changing.
New Hope Mayor Kathy Hemken says the Parkview housing development and the new Aladdis 183-unit luxury apartment project going up along Bass Lake Road near the golf course are creating move-up housing options that's helping transform the city.
The businesses that are coming here, they're coming because they see a different demographics moving into New Hope. And as we build these upscale houses, it brings in a different demographics of people, and therefore it brings in places like Hy-Vee.
Over the last decade, the city purchased and sold these building sites with the idea that new housing would bring new people in and give existing residents more options to stay. It's all happening just as a new city center is developing and building a rejuvenated sense of community in New Hope.
We've got goals, for different projects throughout the entire city. But to have a nice, vibrant city center is certainly something that we see as an integral part of our future.
The Aladdis apartment project called Ironwood is expected to be complete in December. Meantime, the new $18 million City Hall project should be finished in the summer of 2019. Up next, we will talk about a sign of spring.
But first, a Maple Grove wrestler brings home a state championship. John Jacobson will have the highlights coming up next in sports.
I'm John Jacobson with sports. The state wrestling tournament wrapped up Saturday with individual championships. 2 local wrestlers took aim at titles. In the Class 2A 120-pound championship, Tutino graces Jake Sfeel in the title match for a 3rd year in a row. Sfeel is in control for most of the match. Here he gets a takedown on Byron's Michael Peterson as he builds a 5-0 lead. But Peterson rallies in the 3rd period, getting a takedown that leads to a 3-point near fall, and Peterson is up 8-7 and holds on to win the state title. Class 3A 106-pound championship, Maple Grove sophomore Joey Thompson facing Shakopee's Paxton Crease. Tied at 2, Thompson gets the escape to take a 1-point lead. 3rd period, Thompson works the quick takedown on his way to the championship with a 6-3 decision. Thompson caps off an unbeaten season with a state title. Congratulations to him. Several local swimmers qualified for state, but in Class 2A, just 2 plus 1 relay team finished in the top 5 in their event. In the finals of the 100-yard backstroke, Jack Dahlgren of Chanhassen sets a new state meet record with a time of 47.52 seconds. In the yellow cap near the bottom of your screen, Wayzata Sam Kennedy. He finishes 3rd in 49.88 seconds. In the championship heat of the 100-yard breaststroke, Hayden Zhang of St. Louis Park on the purple cap takes first, 56.43 seconds, his winning time. To his left, Wayzata's Nick Kale. He finishes 2nd in a time of 57.33 seconds. Wayzata's 200-yard medley relay team also had a 3rd place finish. Here are the final Class AA team scores from swimming. Minnetonka wins the team title. Shakopee is 2nd with Chanhassen 3rd and Stillwater 4th. Wayzata finishes in 8th place. Congratulations to the Breck Blake boys team. The Bearstangs won the Class A championship for a 2nd year in a row. Winona is 2nd and St. Thomas Academy is 3rd. Breck Blake won the 200-yard medley relay, while the Bearstangs Spencer Pruitt won the 500 free and Anderson Brazil took home gold in the 100-yard backstroke. Park Center's girls basketball team has suffered several close losses this season. Pirates are definitely underdogs in the Section 5 4A semifinals when they face top seed Centennial. The Cougars will start fast in this game. Taylor McCauley on the backdoor cut scores 2 over 22 points, and it's 7-0 Centennial. After trailing 9-0, Park Center gets the next 8. Lauren Frost with a 3-pointer, and it's quickly 9-8. Later in the first half, Danae Griffin pops a 3 over the defender for a Pirates, and they lead at 27-25. It's tied 29-all at halftime, 18 points for Griffin in the game. Second half, Summer Blakemore hits a baseline floater for the Pirates. She scores 19 points in the game. Adalia McKenzie, relentless on the boards for Park Center in this game. She rebounds her own miss and scores, plus a foul. McKenzie scores a game-high 25 points. After 2 Blakemore free throws with 7 seconds left, gave the Pirates a lead. Claire Orth hits the baseline shot at the buzzer that ties it at 70, and the game goes to overtime. Park Center comes out strong in OT. Griffin steps up and hits a big 3. The Pirates are up 76-72. Then she finds McKenzie for 2 points inside. Park Center scores a huge win, 81-76 in overtime. So 4th seed Park Center faces 3rd seed Roseville for the Section 5 title. The Raiders upset 2nd seeded Champlin Park 62-58 in the other semifinal on Saturday. Park Center and Roseville tip off Thursday night at 7 o'clock at Anoka High School. Cooper moved out of Class 4A and into Class 3A this season. The Hawks had a bye in the quarterfinals of the Section 6 tournament, meaning their first playoff game was a semifinal matchup with defending state champion Orono. After a bit of a slow start, Cooper takes over in this game. Drew Gaston, just back from a concussion, hits a 3 and provides a big spark off the bench with 16 points. Hawks are great on the offensive boards. Asia Wheeler gets the putback, and Cooper leads 14-6. Wheeler drives in transition to score the layup. She has 15 points, all in the first half. TT Longs steals the Orono pass and converts for an easy 2 as Cooper's lead grows to 28-11. Andrea Tribble buries a 3 from the right side. Cooper leads 45-22 at halftime, and they roll to a 76-39 win. That sets up the Section 6 3A final as Cooper takes on Benilde St. Margaret's for the title. Benilde beat 2nd seed Waconia in the semifinals. Cooper has defeated BSM twice this season. The section final is Thursday night at 7 o'clock at Chanhassen. A lot of basketball still to come this week. That is all for sports yet today. Alex and Mike, back to you.
All right, love it. Thanks a lot, John. Up next, we're going to forget about the snowstorm that's blowing outside just for a moment.
Let's think ahead to a fun spring event that could use a little help when we come back.
And finally, while we are dealing with another blast of winter, planning is still underway for a fun spring event in Golden Valley.
Officials are looking for a few volunteers for Run the Valley. It's a 5K and 10K race for runners and walkers, which is set for Saturday, April 21st. So yeah, we are looking ahead a bit. And this is video from a previous year. They are looking for greeters, people to help along the course, and those to serve refreshments and then clean up afterwards. They're hoping to find people who can help starting at 6:30 that Saturday morning in April. And if you're interested in volunteering, you can give them a call at 763-512-2366. And yes, by then, we are definitely hoping the weather should be much better. Think spring.
That's right. Get up early, help them out, enjoy a spring day.
That looks great,
It
too,
does.
doesn't it? It's a good reminder. That's it for now. Thanks so much for joining us, everyone.
Drive carefully out there, and we'll see you back here Tuesday starting at 4 o'clock.